Welcome guys, HaKDMoDz here with lesson 4 of the C++ tutorial playlist. Excuse me. First off, we'll be doing the pound include statement with IOStream and string and IOMNIP, as well as conio.h. So include the IOStream header, include the string header, IOMNIP I'll explain later what that comes into play with. Okay, so include string. Okay, now we'll add the IOCONH. So now we'll be using namespace standard as always, and int main as your first setup. This is always the first thing you do. Not necessarily always the same headers, but always namespace and int main. And with inside int main, we'll be declaring our variables. In this lesson, we'll be declaring floats, constant floats, doubles, constant doubles, characters, and strings. Okay, the lesson objective for this lesson is to create a shirt purchase program that will opt the user to input what size shirt they want to purchase and the quantity of the shirt, and it'll output the price total due, such as a cash register program. Okay, select where you want to save your program by selecting Control and S, and select location and enter a name. Remember, it must be entered with .cpp as the file extension for the compiler to successfully compile it. Okay, I'll just make a lesson 4 folder where I'll be storing my case, where I'll be storing my application. Okay, once we get this done, we'll get into the good stuff. Okay, so now we'll be declaring some variables. Okay, the first variable we'll be declaring will be the constant double. Double means that it can have a decimal place as well as spaces after the decimal, because we've used the IOMNIP header at the top there in green. So we'll be setting constant double. Constant means that the price, the numeric value will never change because it's constant, it's been set. So small is the variable and $25 is the first constant variable, and its next one is medium and it's $27.50. Large is $30. The next one, they're all separated by commas. The next one is extra large and it equals $32.50. Okay, end the string, end the statement by semicolon. Okay, so next off we'll be declaring a double. Remember, double is being used because is allowed to be used because we've allocated the IOMNIP header. So now we're declaring total and please pay now and amount due, and they're all set to nothing because we haven't set any variables and we haven't set them to constant amounts. Oops. Okay, so now we're going to constant float. Float is another data type such as double, and we'll be setting this as 0.1, so we can, and we'll set the variable as called discount percent. Okay, and it's 0.1 because it's a 10% discount that's going to be applied if they buy more than 5 purchases per unit cost. Okay, I like my code neat, so capital letters for the first letters, especially in variables. And if you use variables with small letters, or it's very case sensitive, so if you use small letters when you call the statement, you need to use small letters or whatever you've used, large letters or whatever. You can set any variable with whatever word you like, or whatever letter or string or character. Okay, next we'll be declaring integer. and it's going to be integer quantity is the variable, as well as items. So we've set two variables there. The first one is nothing, contains a value of nothing. The second one contains a value of 5. So this is so we can do a check if they've bought more purchases than items, which equals 5. Then we can apply the discount, which comes from constant float discount percent 0.1. Okay, next we'll declare a float unit price. Anything without ended by a colon without a numeric value means that it hasn't been set. Initialize. Sometimes you can initialize them as 0 if you choose, or you can just enter a colon and that self initializes at 0. Okay, now we'll be adding a start. This is not really appropriate, but we'll add one anyway. So we can do a loop statement in this lesson. In the next lesson, we'll be doing for loops, while loops, and do while, as well as arrays. But that's in the next lesson. But for this one, we'll be just using Goto. Okay, so cout will be the next string that we're outputting with just some asterisk, just something random to make the display nice. Ended by new line and end line. Next will be cout. These are out streams, and they're declared by standard namespace. Okay, so the next cout we'll be declaring is the question, which is please select the shirt size that we wish to choose. Ended by end switch, which is the new line, as you know. Okay, so small equals S. So we've got the S in the bracket. So if they select S, they're going to get the unit price for small. If they select M, they're going to get the unit price for medium. And we're declaring this as a list because we're adding new lines after the end of each string. So small, new line, medium, new line, large, new line, extra large, new line. So now if they select in the next question, in this question, when the user gets asked which size shirt they'll be wanting, they can press S, M, L, or X, and we end that statement by end line. Arrows towards the statement, and then end line or colon. End line is always better because you get a new line. Okay, so next we'll be inputting the sin into choice. Now choice was declared as a character, so it's only a one character variable, so therefore it's the S, the M, L, or the X. Okay, now we'll be inputting switch statements with a case. This is a better version of if statements. So switch, and then the condition. So switch choice, if choice equals the case and they've selected S, then do what? So we want it to unit price equals small. So this tells the calculator that we're selecting $25 because that's the small variable fixed constant double price. Okay, so now we'll add a break. All these cases need to be separated by breaks so that it doesn't run into the next case. Okay, so there'll be 4 cases. We might do 5 for an exit. So case M for medium, where we've added the question for medium shirt size, we'll add M, and its unit price is going to equal medium, which is $27.50. And that, again, break, semicolon. Next is case L for large, so we're going to do the case, what's going to happen if we select L. Now unit price equals large, semicolon. Now case X, what do we name it? X. So case X is going to select unit price extra large, equals extra large, sorry, semicolon, break. Okay, we might add one more case to exit the application. No, we won't do it now, actually, we'll do it a bit later. I'll show you what they do so you can understand what the cases are doing. So now we have to add a default for if one of them cases hasn't been selected. So if the user has selected a letter other than S, M, L, or X, then it's going to do the default, which will be a debug. So a try catch statement or an exception. So see out shirt size selection. Please select the correct size. Will be what's displayed on screen because they have selected the wrong letter. Okay, so now in line with a /n. Now arrows to the statement, end line again. Now break. Okay, now outside the case switch, we'll be doing an if statement. Actually, we might see out the next question first. Sorry. Okay, see out. Now we're asking please select the quantity of shirts. So they've selected S, and they're going to get the unit price small, and now we are asking how many of them we want. Okay, so please select the quantity of shirts to purchase, end line. Remember, all these statements these strings need to be enclosed in quotation because they're echo statements, see out statements. So now when the user's been asked how many quantity of shirt, it's going to use sin, and it's going to input the number that you entered into quantity, which was set as a variable. Quantity, where's quantity? Integer is the quantity, so and it has an initialization of 0. So now in that line, now we've got total equals unit price times quantity. So therefore we've selected that we're using S, we've picked small, $25, and we're selecting quantity as, say you picked 100, that's 25 times quantity. Okay, now we're going to output a line to display the answer, the subtotal, sorry. /T for a tab. So that breaks that line up, so you can have subtotal, then a space, and then the answer. And the answer will be using fixed and set precision, which comes from the IOMAN IP header. Okay, so fixed is the location. Set precision, and now we're selecting set precision and 2, so that gives it a decimal place of 2 characters, 2 numeric values after the decimal space. Okay, now we're outputting the total, so therefore we're telling the console that we want it fixed, we want it set precision with 2 decimal places, and then we're giving it the value that we're going to be displaying. And total was declared as a double, so it can have decimal places. Okay, so now if statement, if quantity, the condition goes inside the brackets. So if quantity equals greater than items, and items was declared at 5, so if items are greater than 5, then we do this. Okay, so that goes inside the braces, and we'll be doing amount due equals total. Amount due times equals total times quantity, times discount. Okay, see out. Now see out 10% discount. This is another see out statement string, so it's in quotation. Anything inside the blue is quotation. Green is the syntax. Red is syntax. Green is the command. So next we're saying here 10% discount has been applied, and we're giving it a tab after the $sign with a fixed set precision of 2 decimal places, and we'll be displaying the grand total. We'll be displaying the discount that's been applied. Okay, so end that line. Next we'll be doing a couple more lines, and we'll be complete with this, and we'll give it a test. So now please pay now is another variable that we set, and it equals total, which is the double, total, take amount due. So therefore we're selecting the grand total and we're taking away the 10% discount that was allocated. So C out and is our next statement, please pay now. So it's done all the calculations and now it's asking for a payment to the user. Okay, and we're separating the same thing. I like my code neat, so a /t and then do the answer. So they're all line up in one column, if it was columnar, or whatever that word is. Okay, so a fixed with set precision of 2 again. If you do any dollar values in set precision of 2, you best off keeping the rest set at 2, otherwise it's just going to look weird. Okay, next Goto is the Goto. Remember, first statement was start. We called a label called start, so that's going to do a loop, and it's in the next lesson we'll be voiding that, and we'll be using do while, and do while and while, as well as for loops. But in this lesson we'll just use Goto. It's pretty primitive, but it'll do. Okay, so we'll do a Control and S to save, or you can go up to the top there to the arrow, to the save option, and now we'll do a debug with F9 or go to the play button. Okay, so that code ran fine, and there we've displayed out the list that we've declared. So small, please enter a shirt size, small, medium, large, or extra large, and the character that will select them is S, M, L, or E, X. Okay, so now the next option was please select the shirt size quantity. See, that option there has brought up this next question because one of them cases has been true, so it hasn't thrown the exception. So now it's displayed that, and it's purchased, has done the discount because we've selected 100, which is greater than 5 units, which was declared earlier. So please select how many shirts. We'll do it again. Okay, there we go. There's our new price, less the discount because it's greater than 5. And it's taken the 0.1%, 0.1, it's subtracted 0.1 from the grand total and output it into a string that we can read. Okay. Well, that's pretty much got it. I will add one more case for an exit, otherwise it's going to keep doing the go to start. So we'll add a case, and we'll call set the variable as X. Okay, and with the X case, if somebody pushes X, it's going to exit. So we'll do the return value, which is return is a flag. If the flag is 0, it runs with no errors and will execute and exit. If the return value flag is 1, then it's going to return with an error. And if you have a return value, you can set debug strings for try-catch statements. Okay, so now we're inside our string. We need to add the X so that the list displays what X will do, because otherwise they're not going to know to push X if you don't tell them. Okay, so now we'll run. I've got an error. What's this about? Oh, okay, yeah, I've missed the double dots. So at the end of each case and then the variable, you'll need to add the single the colon, which is the 2 dots, not the semicolon, which is the dot comma. We'll be adding the dot colon. Okay, that should be fine. They need to be on the end of every case. Okay, so now save it, Control S, all that up there at the top. Okay, and now debug it with F9. Run it and compile it with F9, sorry, not debug. Console. Okay, there we go. Now we've displayed the new case, which is X to exits, and we'll test it. Okay, there it's displayed a return code of 0 flag, so it's exited like we've told it to. Okay, that's pretty much got it. In the next lesson we'll be doing more advanced stuff, so stay tuned. I'm HaKDMoDz, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.